Why do you think that so many students are leaving the church?
Students in the church, they're taught this is what to believe, but they're not necessarily taught why they should believe it.
They're not made to go anymore. When you're home, your parents make you go.
Okay.
That's a big reason.
When here, it's kind of you have to get up by yourself. And if you don't have friends that want to go with you, then you just will sleep in because you're tired anyway, so you just sleep and you just don't go.
Yeah.
So when you're on your own, you just don't want to go. You're tired, and then you don't have anyone to go with. So.
I'd probably say it's like community, because if you don't have anyone, like here it's so easy to find like Christian friends, but at a secular college, like everyone's out partying, so like being that one, staying alone, it's pretty hard.
I think probably because it's just like they're stepping out into the real world and they're trying to get everything figured out, so they probably put that as like one of their bottom priorities.
Yeah, I think your schedule changes once you get at least to college. Even at a Christian college, I think my schedule changes, and so like a Sunday morning church even isn't as appealing just because of I guess school and stuff on the weekends.
I know for me growing up, church was very much something that my parents did, and like I went because it was expected. And then I come to college and it's kind of like, hey, like I can sleep in on Sundays, which is a rare thing. So I know my first year of college, it was easy for me to get into like slipping away, like sleeping in when I wanted to. And also like finding a church is so hard. Like my parents found a great church and I love my church back home. And then I'm up here on my own, I'm just like, alright, like I don't really want to put an effort to go look for a church. I don't know what to look for. Like I don't know what I want out of a church.
It's probably because nobody has anybody that's really investing in them. They have accountability partners, they have mentors that are older than them that are also continuing to be in the church. But also it's like sometimes the church isn't being really relevant to them, and also they're not reaching out to them. I think sometimes they forgot.
Sometimes it has a lot to do with how they were raised and their families.
They don't have a strong foundation. A lot of the schools and stuff just don't train them.
And at least for me, one of the things was why would I go get judged based on how good of a Christian I am on Sundays when I have to deal with that with everything else I do, or how good are you at work, or different peer pressure type stuff that you deal with 6 days a week. Why would you throw one more thing on on Sundays? So that or stuff not being relevant would be the two big reasons, I think.
You finally have the choice not to go, kind of. And you're not being forced to anymore.
And so when you get to college, it's this overwhelming sense of independence. So you don't have mom and dad waking you up telling you, hey, you have to go to church today. I mean, it's totally up to you. And so sometimes I think with the stress of school, you get pulled away from that.
We reach a certain age where we're supposed to be making decisions for ourselves, and students just don't want to. They just don't want to make decisions for themselves, and then instead they go out and do crazy things. And they're like, well, I grew up around church, so you know what? I think I'm just gonna try without church, kind of a thing.
Like a lot of the times you're away from your family, so your family's not making you go to church anymore. You're kind of trying to find who you are in yourself, and some people feel like they're not really themselves when they're in a church.
They're not rooted in Jesus as to like who he was, and the relationship that they have with him isn't personal. Like it was either something that was cultivated because of family, or maybe because of relationships with friends, or maybe the school that they went to. But I feel like so many kids are leaving the church because the relationship that they had with Jesus wasn't genuine. It wasn't built upon an intimacy with just him alone, and that being all that they need, but rather him being, their genie, so to speak, yet that they rub the lamp every time that they have a problem, or just someone that they use to relate to other people, like their friends or their family. So it probably wasn't rooted in something deep enough to stay stable throughout the years.
Staying plugged in, definitely going to church every Sunday morning is a struggle.